Do you ever start an illustration and then don't touch it for days, weeks, months? Well, this ant illustration is something I started probably over a year ago at this point, and I figured I need to finish it because summer is ending and fall is just around the corner, and a perfect time to post a pool illustration for my ants is in the summer, so obviously I am not going to put this illustration off for another year until summer rolls around in 2019, and obviously it is illegal to post summer illustrations in the fall, and I don't want to go to jail, so I thought I would go ahead and finish this, even though I really want to do a school ant illustration where it's a school classroom and there's desks and a blackboard and the ants are being silly. I really wanted to do that, but I figured if I don't finish this ant illustration that I have put off for a year, when the heck am I ever going to finish it? So this particular ant illustration I started in a live stream last year at some point between, I want to say July or August. I feel like I usually theme my illustrations around whatever the current season is. And I do remember the chat being very enthusiastic about this illustration. I do wonder if maybe the reason why I ditched this ant illustration is because I hit 1,000 subscribers, so I wanted to work on my 1,000 ant illustration. So maybe I started this pool ant illustration and then unexpectedly hit 1,000 subscribers, and I wanted to celebrate by drawing 1,000 ants in one illustration. If you haven't seen that video, here is a link in the corner. Yes, I actually do draw just over 1,000 ants on one piece of paper. It's crazy. But this guy is a pool party. I thought it would be a good way to say goodbye to summer because summer is ending in just a few weeks. Everyone has gone back to school. Summer is over. Parties are over. Fun is over. It's school time. Time to be miserable. That's right, no fun at school. So I've talked about the way I've drawn ants has changed over time. If you watched my series of seasons ant illustrations, you know that they started off kind of much smaller and lanky, and their limbs were longer. And over time, I eventually started drawing them a lot thicker, their limbs are fatter, and in general, I just draw the ants a lot bigger on the page, which I am still trying to fix. It's really hard to draw as small as I used to. I do not know how I drew ants that small back in the day, but I am still trying to get myself to draw that small. But it is so hard. It is so hard, especially with the way I draw the ants kind of thick now. My ants used to have the thinnest little tiny limbs, and although it's really cute, I do prefer these thicker limbed ants more. So something I did struggle with this half-finished illustration was that I sort of had to find a medium between how I used to draw them and how I draw them now, and also when I inked the ants, I had to sort of redraw them as I went in ink, which honestly was very terrifying because I wasn't going to erase all of the pencils I had already done. I figured ants are simple enough to draw, I can probably change them as I ink them. A couple of things I also changed as I inked was I wanted to add some bees in this illustration and also ants with pinsors. I think my favorite ant type is the ants with pinsors. I just find that their little pinsors are so cute. And although I draw them with the same size head, I think adding those pinsors just makes their head look so oversized and so large, which probably makes them even more cute. I just love those guys so much. But it wasn't until I was about 2/3 through inking the illustration that I realized that I completely forgot to add ants with pinsors like I told myself I wanted to do. So all of the ants with pinsors are kind of on one side where I, left them till the last second. I also completely forgot to pencil in a bee, so I had to improv a bee in when I inked it. And although bees are also pretty easy, I don't draw them quite as much, so this bee ended up just a little janky, but overall, he is pretty dang cute. He turned out all right. No damage there. So pool ants, I cannot wait for you guys to be slamming all those ant facts for me in the comments about ants and water. I do know about how ants kind of combine together to make a floating island. At least I think there's a certain type of ant that combines together to make a floating island. So you guys can't drop that knowledge on me. Other than that, I did not do any sort of Googling or research about ants and water because, can we be honest? These ant illustrations are not supposed to be biologically correct. This is not supposed to be fact. There are ants serving fast food. There are ants tanning on beds. There are ants walking around with teeny tiny little popsicles. Obviously, these ant illustrations are not supposed to be factual. In fact, fact, I do draw ants with 4 limbs, knowing that they do have 6. So obviously, you know, things are gonna get silly in here. Also, I give them teeth. There's a lot of things in here that aren't real because this is supposed to be a cute and silly and fun illustration, not a factual one. In case you were wondering why I only give them 4 limbs, it's just because I draw so many of them and they are so small that it would just be really hard to give them 6 legs. So I thought by just giving them 4, it would simplify the illustration and cut out a lot of the stress of jamming 6 limbs onto this teeny little tiny drawing. That's it, really. That said, here's a fact, I love swimming. Do you guys like swimming? I come from Tennessee where the summers are so hot, if you do not have a pool or you do not have access to a pool or some sort of sprinkler or something, you will die in the summer because it is so hot, it is disgusting. So swimming was definitely a necessity to my childhood. I loved going to Florida to swim in the beach. I absolutely love swimming. I just think it's so much fun. It's kind of like flying, but you have to hold your breath to do it, I guess. Here's a poll. Do you like swimming? Do you not like swimming? Can you swim? Here's another poll. Can you swim? Do you drown? You should probably learn to swim because it's pretty dang fun. Since I moved to Canada, I actually haven't been able to swim at all. Somehow there are outdoor pools here, but to be honest, the amount of days in the summer that you could probably swim in that pool without being too cold is too few for me to really bother. And you know what else I don't like? This has turned into a pool video, not an art video. I don't like indoor pools because they just have this smell of chlorine, and I feel like, at least with an outdoor pool, if a kid pees in it, it has a chance of evaporating into the air and it'll be gone, right? Well, an indoor pool, everything is just there, contained, it smells weird. I like outdoor pools. Hey, here's another poll. Do you like indoor pools or do you prefer outdoor pools? Do you like either? What's going on? It's the poll video. We're gonna talk about pools. Oh, I guess I should have mentioned this with the art section. With this illustration, I wanted to make it a little more bright than usual. Usually when I color the ground in these ant illustrations, I just kind of use a gray or something like that. But because this is supposed to be a summery illustration, I did want it to be just a little bit more bright, so I added a little blue to the gray that is the concrete around the pool, and I did think that helped a lot. But because I used a sort of bluish gray color, I had to include more red ants than my quote-unquote black ants. I used the color Payne's Gray for my set of core watercolors to paint the black ants. So they come off as this bluish gray color, which I absolutely love, but I didn't want them to blend in too much, so I thought I would include more red ants in this illustration so that they kind of popped off the page a little bit more. Especially in the pool, even though I think I ended up putting more black ants, I did want to make sure that they were a lot of red ants to pop off of that blue a little bit more. And I just wanted to include as many little summery things as I could. We've got ice cream, hot dogs, pool toys, towels, fast food, drinks, little tiny cell phones on the chairs. It's adorable. I hope this illustration gives you guys a sort of summery vibe. And you know what? I think it's time to find a few ants. So let's get that list going. 4 ants holding beach balls, 4 ants wearing sunglasses, 4 old ants, 4 ants with pincers, 2 ants holding food trays, 2 ants eating popsicles, 1 ant wearing a hat, 1 custodian ant, 1 bee, and that gosh darn robber ant. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this ant illustration. I hope you enjoyed your summer. Try to enjoy school a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!